Today, I want to review Unit 1. Unit 1 is all about the function of character. There are multiple aspects of this course skill, and I think it's best if we discuss a book that we're probably all slightly familiar with, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Let's review the different aspects of this course skill. 1A, identify and describe what specific textual details reveal about a character, that character's perspective, and that character's motives. We can pretty much check all the boxes for the function of character by reading just the very first chapter of The Great Gatsby. So for this skill, we're going to look a little bit closer at Nick Carraway's character. Some of the skills definitely require you to have read full-length texts, so make sure that you are not just reading excerpts. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. So in the very first lines of this book, we have a character revealing that at one point he was more naive than he is now, because at one point he was younger and more vulnerable. We already know that this character will experience tremendous change throughout this text. Otherwise, there would be no reason to open the story like that. Another way that Nick reveals something about his character in this text is through the lines, "I'm inclined to reserve all judgments, a habit that has opened up many curious natures to me, and also made me the victim of not a few veteran bores." One sentence that he gives us shows us that he believes that he does not feel very judgmental towards people. And in that exact same sentence, he shows us that he does judge people. First, he tells us that he does not judge, right? He reserves all judgment. Then he claims that some natures are more curious than others. Not necessarily negative, but a judgment nonetheless. Immediately after that, he does call some of the people who confide in him veteran bores. Still a judgment. Already, Nick has revealed to us in just the first couple lines of the text that he is someone who doesn't want to judge others, but is unable to stop himself from doing so. This shows us a lot about Nick's perspective. It gives him a more human perspective, as he is a narrator with these human qualities, the inability to resist passing judgment on others. Completing that analysis, it leads us into our next step, which is to identify what are Nick's motives throughout the story and how does the text reveal that. Already we have revealed to us that Nick, he's going to be unable to stop himself from passing judgment. His motive is that he is simply human. So as he goes through the other elements of the narrative and experiences what he will with the other characters, he will be unable to refrain from passing judgment on them, which makes him a lot more interesting. We've now covered what specific textual details can reveal about a character, their perspective, and their motives.